Well, this year I've tried to go through all of the chakras, so we're getting into the year pretty much. So we are going to do our final chakra, the crown chakra, today. Oh. Let's talk about a chakra is really the pronunciation. We say chakra, but it's like chakra. So let's talk about a chakra and how a chakra is created in our body. Now there's many chakras. There's a whole set of minor chakras called the nada system, which are very small. There's about 390 of them. You have them in your fingers, you have them in the palm of your hands, you got them everywhere. But we start with the first major 7 chakras that run through the body. I define chakras, taking it from a more Eastern definition to a more Western understanding, as energetic databases. They are places that you hold your story. So when we started with the root chakra, everything that you experience from the time of conception in your mother's womb to around 6 or 7 years old is recorded in that first root chakra. We call that our tribal chakra. Then around 6 or 7 or so, whatever the age is now, we kind of left tribe and went to school, and we left tribe and started having relationships outside the tribe. And that begins our sacral chakra. So everything that happened as you begin to experience relationships with people who didn't have to like you because you didn't share DNA with them, but you had to earn popularity, school issues, being bullied, all that kind of stuff that you experienced is all energetically imprinted on the second chakra. The third chakra, which is at the solar plex, is when you enter into adolescence. And when you enter into adolescence at 12, 13 years old, you start feeling your body. Hormones are raging. And you have to realize, what relationship am I going to have with self? With the body that I've incarnated in, the gender, the race, my orientation, all of the things that you came into, you have to either make peace with or not. And a lot of people have not made peace with truly who they have come to become in the human story. So it's not until you get through those 3 lower chakras that you actually become an initiate to start the inner spiritual work, which is through the opening of the heart chakra. When the heart chakra is open, it becomes like a doorway or a portal that takes us in, and we start our spiritual. But it's very important that we take care of these 3 lower chakras. That's where the work is. That's where the work is that has to be done. And so we are definitely attempting to move up the chakra ladder. So we're entered into the very crown. So at least we accumulate the 7-fold journey, climbing to the 1,000-petal lotus blossoming at the top of the head, just above the head. This is the first of the chakras now, of the 7 chakras that are not extensions of the body, but is above the body. So this is a place that is transcendent to the human mind. It is the part that we don't see. But we can call it the spiritual self, we can call it the higher self, we can call it divine mind, some call it Christ consciousness, but it is that transcendent part of ourself, of our mind, that extends beyond the world of appearance and the world of Maya and illusion that is there. Here we find the infinitely profound seat of cosmic consciousness, known as the 7th or crown chakra. This chakra connects us to divine intelligence and helps us into the source where all manifestation can come from. It is the place in which we reach understanding and find meaning. Now the head, when you do the last one, which is the third eye, the brow chakra, which is mental or consciousness, you have to understand that that's where you gather knowledge. So all the things that you think you know, and unfortunately so much of what you think you know has its source outside of yourself. From culture, religion, society, education, family, all those things make up a lot of the way that you think about yourself, other people, in the world that you live in. So we're going to move beyond that into a more transcendent part of our ability. So it doesn't matter how much you know. I actually have gathered quite a bit of knowledge in the last 60 years of what I'm doing. But that doesn't mean a thing unless I understand the knowledge that I have. So knowledge itself is not the answer of just cramming more information and more knowledge through books and teachings and whatever until you have understanding of it. Then understanding ignites it into something that becomes a substance that you can use and create manifestation. So understanding is very, very important. And this comes from our crown chakra. Like a king whose crown signifies order in the kingdom, the crown chakra represents the ruling principle of life. The place where the underlying order and meaning of all things is ultimately perceived. This is that place you go to and you go, I get it. When you were trying to analyze and think about it and trying to figure it out on a mental level through the brow chakra, all of a sudden a knowing or understanding takes place. And that is what we're talking about on Wednesdays, called gnosis. The experience of receiving divine mind absent of all the filters of the human mind. When you take the filters away, you can have a pure connection to divine mind without something interpreting and losing its purity of what it really is in the sense of gnosis, or knowing. So it doesn't matter to me how much that you intellectually know and may believe. And as we've taught here so much, that your belief systems cannot be made of things that are intellect without understanding or knowingness to know. There's an old saying that people seem to grasp to, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. You shall know. It doesn't say you have to believe, but you have to know or gnosis the truth. I have sought the truth all my life. I came out of the womb seeking the truth. I think I started in the womb as a seeker of seeking to know the absolute of truth. And many times through my journey, I thought I'd found it. I thought I'd found it in a particular church or a different belief system or a different group over here. I would think, this is the one. This is what I've been looking for. And to find out that it wasn't the absolute. It wasn't the it of truth. And I didn't have that experience until later into the 80s. In contemplation and meditation, I was again asking, what is the truth with a capital T? Not just what is true, but what is truth? And I was taken back, and Spirit uses kind of the data you download into the brain, and it's like a computer. So it used what I knew, and that was a scripture in which Yeshua, the teacher, was standing before Pilate, the powers to be. And Pilate said, I'm ad-libbing a little bit, but he's saying, there's nobody around other than this person that's writing all this down. Everybody thinks there's somebody writing down all this stuff in the Bible, like a scribe or something. But it's like nobody's around. Just tell me, what is the truth? And man, I got excited about, this is it. He's going to tell us what the truth is. I'm going to find out. He didn't say a thing. I thought sure he would whip out the Isaiah or some of the documents that was already there and start preaching to Pilate. But he didn't. He stood in the silence of his being. The silence of his being. Now you in Soul Energetics, I don't know if you can answer this or remember it, but what is the most perfect sound in all the universe? Silence. Silence. It's not an absence. It is silence in its most pure potential and possibility. So if I hold a tuning fork up here and say, now listen to the tuning fork, what would you hear? Nothing. What if I disturb the silence by tapping the tuning fork and making it vibrate, gives the silence vibration, which ends up as a sound that I can hear. So all the things that you can hear is disturbed silence. And that's why meditation and learning to go back and get as close to silence as you can is as powerful as a wave in the ocean returning back to the ocean it came from. So I'm kind of so energetics here today because that's what we're into. But I want people to understand that to find the true essence of self, one has to learn how to quieten the chatter of our analytical mind. It's very important. You don't do that overnight. It takes a commitment. It takes practice. Don't always want to do it myself, but when I do, I'm so glad that I did. And oftentimes it doesn't stop the chatter of my human mind, the monkey mind they call it, that keeps chattering until I understood I'm not those thoughts. I'm not that chatter. I'm observing that chatter. I'm the silent witness. So anything that you can see in your mind, if I had you to imagine a perfect red apple, who's looking at the apple? The essence of you. So you're trying to get back to the essence of who you are, which is in the I am presence of beingness. So anyway, I just think it's so important that we continue. And thank you for you that come to the meditations on Sunday morning. It means a lot that we start these Sunday mornings with silence. And then we come in and we play the music and disrupt the silence so it can take on a form so that we can have an experience here in these services of some kind. And that's what it's about. Every one of you should leave here with some experience that expands your consciousness and yourself. So the answer to this whole thing that I thought was interesting was that he said nothing, but he was saying it loud and clear. I don't have the truth. I am the truth. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's why I've not found it in a philosophy or a theology, or I've not found it in some kind of a mental construct of a belief system that I thought every time that was the one, but I've found that it is my identity as a spirit being. I am the truth. Say it. I am the truth. And then I have a saying that once you understand who you are, everything else is entertainment. Enjoy yourself. So in Sanskrit, the crown chakra is called the Sahasrara, meaning thousandfold. Now, all of these have certain parts of themselves, but this is a thousandfold. But thousand represents the term of the infinite. The infinite. referring to the infinite unfolding petals of the lotus. What brief glimpses I've been privileged to have in this chakra reveal a pattern of such magnitude and complexity and beauty that it is almost beyond my mental capacity to receive it. This is where innate faith comes in. Faith is not, oh, I believe it. Faith is, oh, I remember it. I remember it. I know it. Now, every time you get a knowing or a gnosis experience, which some people refer to as an epiphany, an aha moment, a breakthrough of divine mind into human mind, once there's that penetration and the experience of that, that's what you then want to qualify into your belief system. Now, through the experience of all these years, there are certain things that I thought I believed. I'm pretty set. This sounds good to me. I like this. I believe it. But the more that I grew and the more that I started hearing from higher consciousness of myself from the crown chakra, the more I realized that what I believed was nothing that I knew was truth. I just believed it to be so. It was more perception than it was reality. So oftentimes I've had that experience that I knew, maybe it was something I did read or something that I heard or however it came. I just had this knowing in me, this is true. Now, not truth, but true. All right, got the truth. Now I need to find out what is aligned with my truth of myself. That is true to me. That, what I'm saying to you, I qualified a lot of times things I knew to be before I understand what it is. But I went with the experience of knowing it to be for me. And therefore, then I qualify it into my belief system. So it's different than trying to believe to know and knowing to believe. You want to believe only after the experience of knowing something. Belief will not take you to knowing. Belief will take you to more belief. And you'll just pile up all kinds of belief systems. And these belief systems will eventually end up as your BS systems. In many cases. So let's look at a little bit about this chakra. As I said, the name is Sahasrara, which is thousandfold. The location is just above the head. The element is thought, but not human thought. It is divine thought. Its manifestation as it forms itself into expression, we know it as information. Spirit forms itself into an understanding of some kind. It forms itself. The psychological state is bliss. Now this is why it's important today that you, in a moment when we do the exercise, that you get this crown chakra open, because then you have access to going into bliss whenever you need it, when you're in deep turmoil. And know that there's a place in you that you can go to and recapture your state of bliss. The gland is the pituitary. Other parts of the body is the cerebral cortex and central nervous system. Any malfunction in these ends up in depression, alienation, confusion, boredom, apathy, and inability to learn. The vowel sound is not one, and neither is there a seat sound of this one, because it is above the body. Therefore, it is transcendent. The sephira in the tree of life in the Kabbalah or Kabbalah is the kether, which is at the crown of the tree. It's It's at the crown of the tree. The planet is Uranus. The metal is gold. And I love this one. Foods are none. Fasting. Fasting. The yoga path is meditation. The herbs are the lotus and gotu kola, if I'm saying that right.
Yes.
The minerals are the amethyst, which is we have right down here. It also connects us to the full moon. The deities are Shiva and Shakti. And these are some of the things that align with the crown chakra. Colors is violet or white. Some people use violet. In Soma Energetics, we use white as representing all color. That's why we use all 6 of the colored forks to create the 7th sound. It's almost a synergetic sound made out of 6 things that we can see, but something that's greater than the sum of its parts. So we use all the forks to create at the crown. So I got so much here, I want to make sure I don't overwhelm you with a whole bunch of stuff. When we reach this level, the seed of our soul has sprouted from its roots of the earth and grown upward through the elements of earth, water, fire. What's next? Air. And all the way to incitement with the third eye, the ability to see through all illusion and to see the hidden agenda of people, places, and things. That could change your life greatly if you just would activate that ability to see the heart of all things rather than it appears. Do you realize how manipulated we are every day through subliminal advertisings and all kinds of things? And sometimes things sound so right for us that are not, because we don't know how to look beyond it and see the heart of it, the motive behind it. This could change your relationships, everything, that you be not manipulated into things you don't need to be doing if you can stay in a sense of awareness and the ability to see through it. It is this chakra that yoga philosophy has deemed as the seat of enlightenment. Its ultimate state of consciousness is beyond reasoning. The 7th chakra relates to what we experience as the mind, especially the awareness that makes the use of the mind. The mind, as we know it, is the play of consciousness, which can be a comedy or a tragedy.
No kidding.
We are a privileged audience that gets to watch the play, although sometimes we identify so completely with the characters on the stage, that's our thoughts, we forget it's only a play. A lot's going on in the world today, we know that. But if your third eye and your crown chakra is open, you're able to see a different order coming in that is disturbing the old order. And it's up to us to be able to see beyond that and see the spiritual order behind all chaos and all crises that is going on. If I look at the world through the media, it looks pretty hopeless right now. We're not going in the right direction. In my perception as a human being, it's not the way I would like to see it. I thought we'd be much more evolved than some of the things that are going on in the world today. And we're not, because of the time that we live in, that so much of our chakras are being so opened that all of our pathologies that we have stuffed into the subconscious is coming up, not to punish us, but coming up for healing. And the Course says the healing of my mind is the healing of my brother's mind. So every one of you can be a portal into the collective consciousness. Because you can't heal yourself and not heal all those that are in the collective, who are at a place to receive their own state of enlightenment or change. And I'm saying that because I don't want you to come from an ego point that this is all about me feeling good. This is about me. No, it's about us now. I don't think that you will get any more healings or anything individually. I think you'll get it in the collective. When the planet is healed, you'll find yourself healed. So it's not about me, me, me. It's about us. Through watching and observing the play of thoughts, our mind assimilates experiences into meaning and constructs that are different from our perceptions of things. We must be willing at this point for correction work. It's all about getting us into perfect alignment. Many of you who have seen portraits of so-called enlightened spiritual people, most of them have a halo. So these artists somehow, I believe, picked up something around the head, around the crown chakra, that they captured in the art to tell us. And we need to understand that that is not just about special or specific people, but it is available to all of us to live the enlightened mind. So having traversed the chakra symbology, we now see why their order is so important. We move upwards from our feet to our legs, which are like out of our roots, representing our ancestors and collective history through basic and individual survival needs. For here the individual has emerged from the collective mind and represents the first chakra. This is where you become the individual. But you're not the individual. You are the individualization of the one. Individual means personality. And that's the part when people tell you, oh, there's nobody like you in all the world. We are very unique in our personas, in our personalities, and in our nature. But deep down, we are the individualization of the one spirit that we come out of and that we express. With the second chakra, we come to the development of sexuality and desire. Then in the third chakra, we develop self-identification, personal power. This represents the end of the lower nature and the beginning of the higher nature. For in the fourth chakra comes the development of the loving kindness, compassion, and selflessness. It is the movement from aware of self to the awareness of a true self or authentic self. The fifth chakra represents the clear and divine communication, while the sixth is expanded consciousness and brilliant mind. The seventh chakra is full self-realization or enlightenment. Enlightenment. So, don't have a lot. I do think that the crown chakra more connects us to the pineal gland. I know they teach the third eye does, but I think the third eye actually connects us more to the pituitary gland. to the master gland, but the pineal gland is more of an ascendant part of our physiology. It is the most spatial, spiritual organ in the entire body, is the pineal gland. It is called the seat of the soul by Pythagoras, Descartes, all called it the seat of the soul. The pineal gland is not technically a part of the brain at all. It's in the brain, in the center of the brain, but it is not a part of the brain, and it is not protected by the blood-brain barrier. It's geometrically in the center of the brain, has a hollow interior and filled with water fluid. And get this, receives more blood than any other part of the body except the kidneys. Runs through the pineal gland. It's called brain seed or sand because it is so not used and has so been misused that it ends up with deposits of little enamel crystals, much like what your teeth is made of. And this can be picked up on x-rays and MRIs of your pineal gland that you will see. A lot of this comes from different things, but one of the main things it comes from is from the use of fluoride. I understand that Hitler used it in the water to bring the Israelites, the Jewish people, to a docile state. And of course, who bought it and picked it up? America. We did the same thing with the microwave. The microwave was made by the Germans to kill the Russians. And who bought the patent? America. And now we've all got microwaves in our house. So there's always been a plan to keep us dumbed down to a certain level. And it's time for us to rise out of that and to find our power once again and remember who we really are. This pineal, which means pine and comes from the pine cone. I like to tell my story here because in the late 60s, this is how far back it was, I was pastoring a little church in East Texas. Wonderful people, but they were fundamentalists. They treated me good, they loved me in every way, but they were Bible-based only people. And I received a little cassette tape or something about the first time I heard about the pineal gland, which I didn't know was called the pineal gland, so I called it the pineal gland. And the first time I said that, a woman got up and said, "I'm not staying here for this kind of talk." And stormed out. That's how touchy all this was. But I was so fascinated with this idea that the pineal gland had become less powerful in us as time has gone on. It's been shut down in us. But it started activating sometime in the 60s, and to the point that they became interested. Why is this beginning to come back and to become more than it has been? And of course, the little tip of the cone vibrated like an antenna. And it was started picking up, maybe from other realms or other dimensions of mind in some way. And I was so excited about that. I wanted to talk about that so much to this group. But they weren't going to hear it because they wanted chapter and verse. And I couldn't find it. So I was doing whatever I did in those days, prayed or meditate. I don't know what I was doing. But I had this really download or breakthrough that said, go into the Old Testament and look up every coniferous tree that is mentioned. Now, who would have thought of that? This is what I call gnosis. This is a gnosis moment. When you get a thought you would have never thought of. Because those are boring parts of the Bible. Who cares about the fir tree and the box tree and all of these different trees? But as I took them and looked them up in Hebrew, I found the meaning so fascinating. It meant inner sight. It meant all kinds of things that was the characteristics of the pineal gland So I was able to minister that to them by using the trees of the Bible. And that's how I was able to break through and have an ability to start talking about the pineal gland. I just knew in myself that it was a specifically powerful gland that was going to be used greatly for human transformation. It truly is the seat of the soul, of the soul. They're everywhere. They're all over the world, pine cones. They're in Rome. They're in Mexico, Egyptian, sun god, Osiris. The biggest one is in the square of the Vatican in Rome. It is on the staff of the Pope. Why? What do they know about the pineal gland and opening it and how it can change human intelligence with enlightened thought? And that's why every one of you should have a pineal tuning fork. Got one. Use it. Use it every day. It's found in Hinduism. It is found in Buddhism. It is found even in Christian writings when it talks about when the eye is single, the body is full of light. The crown chakra and the pineal gland is the link between human and divine. It is your connection. I'm not going to go that deeply into all of this because I want you to experience today through the bowls the opening of your crown chakra and the experience of it that can give you more access to your higher mind. I think to get through and navigate through the breakdown period of 4D, you're going to have clarity of guidance. So I'll close with this. The energy, qualities, and characteristics associated with the crown chakra. Spiritually, the crown chakra is often linked to spirituality, divine connection, and the realization of one's higher self. It brings us to a oneness with the divine. Father, make them one, even as we are one. It is associated with the concept of oneness, unity, and the interconnectedness of all living beings. It awakens divine wisdom. The chakra is believed to be the source of divine wisdom and enlightenment itself. It is the place of true spiritual cosmic consciousness. It represents the highest level of consciousness and awareness. Practices to balance and activate your crown chakra can be one through meditation, especially focusing on the crown chakra can help activate and balance the chakra. 2, through mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness and being present in the moment can help align with this chakra. Yoga poses that involves gentle stretches, relaxation, meditation, and often recommended to activate these things in the crown chakra. Spiritual practice, engaging in spiritual practices such as prayer or rituals that resonate with your beliefs, can help open and balance the crown chakra. And finally, quiet reflection. Spending time in a quiet reflection, contemplating life's purpose and meaning, can also be beneficial. So let's get comfortable in our seats. We teach that sound is a carrier of consciousness. So we will use the bowls as sound to move our consciousness to our 7th chakra realm with the intent of awakening it and bringing it in to functioning in our world, in our life every day. So if you take a deep breath, see where the sound takes you. Where does it take your mind or your consciousness? See it around the top of your head, just above your head. You might see it as a white, golden light or some other color, however you choose to imagine it. And now I want you to say after me, I am a divine spiritual being.
I am a divine spiritual being.
And breathe. And say after me, I am love and light.
I am love and light.
And breathe. And now I am limitless and abundant.
I am limitless and abundant.
And breathe it in. I'm guided and release all doubt.
I am guided and release all doubt.
And breathe. I am at peace.
I am at peace.
And now in the closing session of the chakras, we will go through all the chakras, beginning at the root to the crown. The root. You might see the color red around your root chakra. You're actually sitting on your root chakra at the perineum. This is your connection and grounding to Earth and with Mother Earth. Feel the energy go down from your coccyx down into your legs, your knees, your lower legs, your feet, and at the bottom of your feet, down through this floor and carpet all the way to earth. Feel the grounding of earth. Move up just below the navel, the hara belt, into the sacral, the element of water, the place of emotion. Anything to do with any experiences that were not pleasant to you during this period of your life, when you begin to separate from tribe and go into the world to find your place in relationships with others. Bring your attention up to the solar plex in the upper part of your stomach and rib cage. Affects your colon and all the organs that are in this part of the body. you have any issues there, ask yourself, what am I holding on to that is showing up in any way as a disease or illness or discomfort? Whatever it is, on a conscious, unconscious, or subconscious level, through the exhale of my breath, I let it go now, through the sound. Blow it out. Good. We move up into the heart area, and you might see the color green. In your heart, you may hold deep, conscious or unconscious, imprints of times that the heart has been shut down due to wound, pain, sorrow, or grief. We ask through this sound and intention that all patterns to do with hurt or grief is let go of through the exhale of the breath. Breathe in and exhale. This will bring new relationships from a different level that are the attraction of the heart to heart rather than the sacral, which is a part of the story of our evolution for procreation of the species. In the heart, you enter into the co-creation of the species. Let it go. Breathe in again. Anytime you have been disappointed, abandoned, lied to, cheated on, it's no longer serving you at all. Let it go. Breathe in. I really feel Spirit's doing something with this one, is why I'm staying there. The clearing of the heart. We're climbing toward the crown chakra. And now we move to the throat area, the color blue. This is the place that we give expression to the divine through our words and through sound. It is the place of communication. If we do not communicate our truth, we begin to shut down our throat. So any time that you have not been allowed to speak your truth, and especially to you women that are here who was raised in any kind of religion or culture that said you should be seen but not heard, that women should be quiet in the church and only ask their husband. If all of that is somewhere in your story, even at an unconscious level, I invite you through the exhale of the breath to let go of it and find your power of the spoken word. Now let's move up right between the eyebrows to our brow chakra. The place of insight and discernment, intuition. Through this sound and through the intent of Spirit, we ask that third eye be cleared out of anything that has blinded us from seeing past appearance and to see the hidden motive of people, places, and things around us. To always see the intent and the heart of all matter. And now finally we come to the crown chakra. You may see it as a violet or indigo color or a white light. See it just above your head. And I invite you to move up out of your body into that chakra. Just raise yourself up, right out into the crown and out of the crown into your transcendent, ascended self. Sorry. Deep breath, and just receive what Spirit has for you to receive in this exercise today. You may feel lighter, you might feel more space, you may feel more open to receive understanding of your life and circumstances that you're questioning, more clarity, more direction. Wow. So, I'm going to end this thing with an old song that came to me I have not heard since I was a young man. It's when this battle's over, we shall wear a crown. We shall wear a crown. We shall wear a crown. When this battle's over, we shall wear a crown. In the New Jerusalem. Oh, wear a crown. Wear a crown. Wear a bright and shining crown. When this battle's over, we shall wear a crown in the New Jerusalem. Again. When this battle's over, we shall wear a crown. We shall wear a crown. Coming down. We shall wear a crown. When this battle's over, we shall wear a crown in the New Jerusalem. Wear a crown. Wear a crown. Wear a crown. Wear a crown. Wear a bright and shining crown. When this battle's over, we shall wear a crown in the New Jerusalem. You know what's in the middle of the word Jerusalem?
USA.
USA. And I saw a new Jerusalem coming down out of heaven, adorned, adorned, and ready to be received. Wear a crown, wear a crown, wear a crown, wear a crown, wear a bright and shining crown. When this battle's over, we shall wear a crown in the new Jerusalem. Thank you. That was fun.